This is a very important one. Is there any political risk when buying in Medellin, especially, and in Colombia? When it comes to buying real estate in Medellin, it can be confusing and inevitably you have lots of questions that need to be answered. In today's video, I'm going to be addressing some of those questions. And to help us out today, I've enlisted the help of Camila, a rock star real estate agent who's helped many of our masterclass students actually buy properties. All right, Camila, we have some great questions to get cracked into. But before we do that, can you just tell us why we need to listen to you?
I'm a lawyer and a real estate agent. That really gives me a special perspective of the whole process.
I've put these questions together by doing some searches of different YouTube videos, Facebook groups, forums, Reddit, everything. These are the most common questions that expats and foreigners want answered when it comes to buying property in Medellin. So question one for you, Camila, can I get a mortgage?
As an expat, you are very unlikely to get a mortgage in Colombia. You won't have any credit history. Even if you did, mortgages in Colombia are heavily expensive. They're going from 15 to 25%.
It's like a credit card.
Yeah, so even if you could, many people opt not to.
Basically, the only way we can buy as foreigners in Colombia is by paying cash.
Yeah, pretty much.
What additional costs and fees are involved in buying a property? Can you break it down for us? So let's use a sample property of $100,000. What's the extra fees going to be on that?
You are going to pay for a lawyer if you're smart. You don't want to have any legal issues with your property. That depends a lot on the lawyer. There's lawyers from like $800 to X.
Okay, you're a lawyer, so how much for you?
Right now, I'm offering a 30% discount for the people that buy the property through me.
We're going to tell you how you can get involved. We're taking a limited amount of clients right now, but can you give us a figure on this $100,000 property, how much we would have to pay you with the 30% discount to be our lawyer?
Usually my fees are $1,500, and it's going to be $1,000.
If you want to get involved and you want to take advantage of the discount and also get Camila to help you find a property free of charge, then just jump into the description of this video. The first link you're going to find is to a form. Fill out the form, which will take you 5 minutes, and we'll be in touch to figure out the next steps to get you on the path to finding your dream property in Medellin. So now we covered the lawyer's fees, which is about $1,000. So next, what would we be looking at?
Bringing your money over and converting it to pesos. Brokerage accounts are going to charge you about 0.8% of the transaction as their fees, but there's also an exchange currency fee that they will take. So think about 1% of the price of the money that you're bringing is going to be paying for fees.
So that's about another $1,000. Okay, so far we're $2,000 in on the sending the money over and the lawyer's fees. What other fees we need to pay, Camila?
Then you need to think of the closing fees. Taxes for registering the transaction, notary expenses. So yeah, the amount of the money that goes from the buyer is about 2%.
4% all in to buy a property here in Colombia. On a $100,000 property will cost us about $4,000. How do I find a reliable real estate agent?
If you're lucky, you get to work with me. Make sure that you look for someone that has experience, understands the market, can explain and answer questions, and really understands the process of purchase for expats, which is not the same as for a Colombian.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you do your due diligence in checking the references and making sure the real estate agent that you choose has closed deals before and has helped out expats. Because a big difference that I noticed is that I've worked with real estate agents before when trying to find properties, and the level of service that Colombians think is acceptable is very far from what foreigners think is acceptable. Not responding to messages, leaving a week between. You need to basically chase them to give them money. And I personally can't deal with that. So make sure you choose someone who's, knows how to deal with expats, or you're going to be pulling at your hair and you'll be bored by the end of it. But let's get to the next question. This one, super important, because basically I'd say 80% of the people that want to buy a property, they want to live in it a part of the time and rent it out the other part of the time when they might be back in their home country, right? How do I know if I can Airbnb my apartment? Do I need any permits and stuff to do this?
When People say Airbnb, usually they're talking about short-term rentals. And a short-term rental is less than 30 days. For that, you do need to have permission within the bylaws of the building, if you're buying in a building. If you have a house that is not submitted to HOA, then you can Airbnb it if you want. And you need to apply for a permit called RNT, and it's a registry that you do before the tourism agency in Colombia.
So to summarize, anything over 30 days, by law, you can just rent. You just need to get your tourism board permit and you can put it up on Airbnb. The people at the apartment building might be looking down on you, might be a bit upset. If you want to avoid stress, it's probably best to check with them first, right? How long does the whole home buying process take from me looking at properties to closing the deal? How long should I allow?
If you have a very clear idea of what you want and can choose quickly, things can move very quickly. But it also depends on the seller. If everyone gets their ducks in a row and the seller is already out of the apartment, doesn't need any time for moving out, you can close within a week. If you don't have all the certificates that you're gonna need, if you are only now starting to open the account, that can take weeks, then usually the process takes from 1 to 3 months, but that is part of what you can negotiate.
So about 3 weeks. And then you need to allow for opening the brokerage account, which could be 5 weeks. So I'd say realistically, would you say about 2 months?
Yeah, I think that is a good estimate.
Lucky last question. This is a very important one. I don't actually know if there's any truth behind this or not, but I see many people asking this. Is there any political risk when buying in Medellin, especially, and in Colombia, being a volatile third world country, as people like to call it?
There's gonna be more political risk here than buying in other like first world countries, of course, but the truth is, it's still very managed. It's been reducing consistently with time. A lot of people were concerned about having a left-wing president, but the truth is, things have not fallen apart, as you can see, and the country keeps prospering. Colombia is the 4th biggest economy in Latin America. Also, the last year, Fitch ratings maintained the BBB plus rating of the country as an outlook stable. So I think in general, you are going to be okay.
Hey, we're going to help a select few people find their dream homes in Medellin. All you need to do is click the first link in the description of this video, fill out the form, and we'll be in touch to let you know how we can help.